Question 1. A Scrum Master is facilitating a sprint review where stakeholders are demanding detailed, fixed-scope commitments for future sprints. How should the Scrum Master best respond to this situation to promote agility? A. Agree to provide the fixed commitments to maintain stakeholder satisfaction. B. Explain that Scrum thrives on empiricism and adaptability, and fixed scope undermines this. C. Direct the product owner to negotiate a compromise with the stakeholders. D. Suggest that the development team commit to the scope during sprint planning. Answer: B. Explain that Scrum thrives on empiricism and adaptability, and fixed scope undermines this. The Scrum Master's role involves coaching the organization beyond the team level, promoting and supporting Scrum's principles. Demanding detailed, fixed-scope commitments for future sprints goes against empiricism, which is the cornerstone of Scrum, as it limits the ability to adapt based on new information and feedback. By explaining why fixed scope undermines agility, the Scrum Master helps stakeholders understand how to leverage Scrum effectively for continuous value delivery and flexibility. For example, the Scrum Master might explain that while a forecast is made, locking in scope too early prevents the team from building the most valuable product as understanding evolves. Remember, a key part of the PSM II Scrum Master role is to help the entire organization understand and enact an empirical approach. Question 2. During a sprint retrospective, the development team identifies a significant technical debt issue that is consistently slowing them down. What is the most effective way for a Scrum Master to address this finding beyond the current sprint? A. Insist the team dedicate the next entire sprint to resolving the technical debt. B. Add the technical debt item directly to the top of the product backlog. C. Facilitate a discussion to help the team propose options for integrating technical debt resolution into their ongoing work and communicate its importance to the product owner. D. Report the technical debt issue to senior management for resolution. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion to help the team propose options for integrating technical debt resolution into their ongoing work and communicate its importance to the product owner. The Scrum Master acts as a servant leader and facilitator, empowering the development team to self-organize and solve its own problems, while also ensuring clear communication to the product owner. Instead of dictating a solution or escalating immediately, the Scrum Master helps the team formulate a plan for addressing technical debt, such as allocating a small percentage of each sprint to it, and ensures the product owner understands the long-term impact on velocity and product quality. This empowers the team to own their work and enables the product owner to prioritize technical debt against new features. Remember, the Scrum Master creates the environment for the team to succeed and helps bridge communication gaps. Question 3. A product owner frequently changes the ordering of the product backlog items mid-sprint, causing disruption and frustration for the development team. What is the most appropriate action for the Scrum Master? A. Remind the product owner that product backlog items should not change during a sprint. B. Facilitate a conversation between the product owner and development team to discuss the impact of such changes and explore better collaboration strategies. C. Advise the development team to ignore the changes until the next sprint planning. D. Escalate the issue to the product owner's manager. Answer: B. Facilitate a conversation between the product owner and development team to discuss the impact of such changes and explore better collaboration strategies. The Scrum Master's role involves coaching both the product owner and the development team on effective Scrum practices and collaboration. When mid-sprint changes disrupt the team, the Scrum Master should facilitate a dialogue to help both parties understand the impact of their actions on each other and the sprint goal. This enables them to find a collaborative solution, such as refining future product backlog items more effectively or agreeing on a mechanism for urgent changes without compromising the sprint goal. For example, the Scrum Master might help the team explain how mid-sprint changes impact their focus and ability to achieve the sprint goal. Remember, the Scrum Master fosters good relationships and effective communication within the Scrum team. Question 4. An organization has multiple Scrum teams working on different components of the same product, and they are experiencing significant integration issues due to inter-team dependencies. How should a Scrum Master best help resolve this at a higher level? A. Advocate for a centralized project manager to coordinate all the teams. B. Suggest the teams use a common definition of done and regularly integrate their work, potentially facilitating a scrum of scrums or other coordination events. C. Assign a dedicated dependency manager to track and resolve all cross-team issues. D. Instruct each team to work completely independently without any shared components. Answer: B. Suggest the teams use a common definition of done and regularly integrate their work, potentially facilitating a scrum of scrums or other coordination events. When multiple Scrum teams work on a single product, ensuring alignment and managing dependencies is crucial for delivering an integrated increment. A strong, shared definition of done encourages continuous integration, as all teams work towards the same standard of completed work. Facilitating coordination events, like a Scrum of Scrums or other scaled Scrum frameworks, helps teams communicate progress, identify impediments, and resolve cross-team issues collaboratively. For instance, the Scrum Master might help the teams establish a cadence for integration testing and agree on shared coding standards. Remember, successful scaling often relies on consistent practices across teams and dedicated communication channels. Question 5. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction with the increment, stating it doesn't meet their unspoken expectations, despite meeting the sprint goal. What action should the Scrum Master prioritize? A. Defend the development team's work by highlighting their adherence to the sprint goal. B. Coach the product owner on the importance of clear communication and engaging stakeholders throughout the sprint. C. Facilitate a discussion to uncover the unspoken expectations and explore how to make them transparent for future sprints. D. Suggest that the stakeholder directly communicate their expectations to the development team during the sprint. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion to uncover the unspoken expectations and explore how to make them transparent for future sprints. The Scrum Master's role includes promoting transparency and fostering effective collaboration among all parties involved. Unspoken expectations are a significant impediment to delivering value and achieving stakeholder satisfaction because they create a gap between what is built and what is truly desired. By facilitating a conversation to surface these hidden expectations, the Scrum Master helps the team and product owner learn how to better engage stakeholders and ensure future product backlog items and sprint goals truly reflect what is needed. For example, the Scrum Master might suggest a workshop to clarify stakeholder needs and acceptance criteria for upcoming features. Remember, transparency is a cornerstone of empiricism, and the Scrum Master helps illuminate hidden information. Question 6. The Scrum team identifies a significant impediment related to a legacy system's instability, which is outside their direct control and impacting multiple teams across the organization. What is the most effective approach for the Scrum Master? A. Instruct the development team to work around the legacy system issues. B. Document the impediment and periodically remind the team about it. C. Work with management and other impacted stakeholders to highlight the systemic impact and explore potential organizational-level solutions. D. Advise the product owner to deprioritize any work dependent on the legacy system. Answer: C. Work with management and other impacted stakeholders to highlight the systemic impact and explore potential organizational-level solutions. A key aspect of the PSM II Scrum Master role is to identify and help remove organizational impediments that are beyond the Scrum team's ability to resolve. This requires a broader system view, engaging with management and other affected parties to highlight the impact and advocate for change at a higher level. Simply working around or ignoring the issue does not address the root cause and will likely lead to recurring problems across the organization. For example, the Scrum Master might present data on how the legacy system's instability is affecting overall delivery and suggest forming a cross-functional task force to address it. Remember, the Scrum Master acts as a change agent, helping the organization improve its overall ecosystem. Question 7. During sprint planning, the development team struggles to create a realistic sprint forecast and commit to a sprint goal, feeling pressured by the product owner to take on too much. What should the Scrum Master do? A. Tell the development team what they should forecast to satisfy the product owner. B. Facilitate a discussion to help the development team understand their capacity and negotiate a realistic sprint goal with the product owner. C. Instruct the product owner to reduce the number of product backlog items they are asking for. D. Take over the facilitation of sprint planning entirely to ensure a commitment is made. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion to help the development team understand their capacity and negotiate a realistic sprint goal with the product owner. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the development team in self-management and help the Scrum team make informed decisions, not to dictate them. When the team struggles with forecasting or commitment, the Scrum Master should facilitate a conversation that empowers the team to understand their own capacity and helps them effectively negotiate with the product owner for a mutually agreeable and realistic sprint goal. This enables the team to set achievable goals and ensures the sprint goal is truly collaborative. For example, the Scrum Master might prompt the team to look at historical data or break down items further to estimate more accurately. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the team learn to self-organize and make their own commitments within the Scrum framework. Question 8. An organization funds projects with fixed budgets and traditional waterfall-style gate reviews, making it difficult for Scrum teams to adapt to change and deliver value incrementally. What is the most effective action for the Scrum Master? A. Advise the Scrum team to create detailed project plans to satisfy the funding model. B. Explain to management how Agile funding models, like value stream funding or product-centric budgeting, support empiricism and continuous delivery. C. Ignore the budgeting process as it is outside the Scrum team's control. D. Suggest the product owner submit budget requests for each individual sprint. Answer: B. Explain to management how Agile funding models, like value stream funding or product-centric budgeting, support empiricism and continuous delivery. The PSM II Scrum Master often needs to coach the organization on how its traditional processes, such as fixed budgeting, can impede agility. The Scrum Master should educate management on alternative funding models that better align with Scrum's empirical approach, focusing on continuous value delivery rather than upfront fixed scope and budget. This requires the Scrum Master to act as a change agent, helping the organization understand systemic issues and the benefits of more flexible funding. For instance, the Scrum Master might present data showing how flexible funding allows for greater return on investment by enabling quick pivots based on market feedback. Remember, a Scrum Master influences the wider organizational system to support Scrum's principles. Question 9. In an organization with a very large product, multiple Scrum teams are working on different parts of the same product. There is confusion about who owns which part of the product backlog, leading to duplication and misalignment. How should the Scrum Master help resolve this? A. Recommend assigning a separate product owner for each Scrum team. B. Suggest the establishment of a single product owner who works with product owners from each team to manage the overall product backlog, or create a clear product owner hierarchy. C. Advise each development team to manage its own portion of the product backlog. D. Insist that all teams work on the same product backlog items simultaneously. Answer: B. Suggest the establishment of a single product owner who works with product owners from each team to manage the overall product backlog, or create a clear product owner hierarchy. For large products, maintaining a single product backlog and a unified product vision is critical, even with multiple Scrum teams. The Scrum Guide emphasizes one product owner for one product to ensure a coherent direction and prevent conflicting priorities. When scaling, this often translates to a primary product owner working with others, sometimes called chief product owners or product owner teams, to ensure consistency, prioritize strategically, and minimize duplication across all contributing teams. For example, the Scrum Master might help the organization establish clear roles and responsibilities, perhaps using a product owner working group to align their efforts. Remember, a clear product owner structure is vital for coherent product development at scale. Question 10. The product owner is primarily focused on delivering a high volume of features, but the Scrum team observes that some delivered features are rarely used by customers, indicating low value. What is the Scrum Master's best course of action? A. Instruct the development team to work faster to deliver more features. B. Explain to the product owner the importance of validating assumptions and focusing on outcomes over outputs. C. Remove the unused features from the product backlog. D. Arrange a meeting between the product owner and customers to clarify their needs. Answer. B. Explain to the product owner the importance of validating assumptions and focusing on outcomes over outputs. The Scrum Master coaches the product owner in effective product backlog management, which includes maximizing the value of the product. When features are delivered but not used, it suggests a disconnect between outputs, features delivered, and desired outcomes, customer value or impact. The Scrum Master should guide the product owner to prioritize work based on actual customer value and to validate assumptions through early and frequent feedback, rather than simply pursuing a high volume of features. For example, the Scrum Master might suggest incorporating experiments and user research into the product backlog refinement process to test hypotheses before full development. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the product owner truly understand what value means in the context of the product and its users. Question 11. An organization has a culture where failure is heavily penalized, leading Scrum teams to be risk-averse and unwilling to experiment or try new approaches. How should the Scrum Master address this cultural impediment? A. Tell the Scrum team that failure is part of learning and they should not worry. B. Advocate for a safe-to-fail environment by educating management and leaders on the value of experimentation, learning from mistakes, and psychological safety. C. Facilitate a team-building exercise to boost team morale. D. Report the issue to HR to address individual team members' fear. Answer. B. Advocate for a safe-to-fail environment by educating management and leaders on the value of experimentation, learning from mistakes, and psychological safety. A significant aspect of the PSM II Scrum Master role is to influence the organizational culture to better support Scrum's principles, especially empiricism, which relies on inspection and adaptation through experimentation. A fear of failure actively hinders this learning process and discourages innovation. The Scrum Master must act as a change agent, coaching management and leaders on the benefits of psychological safety and a learning culture where failures are seen as opportunities for growth, rather than reasons for punishment. For example, the Scrum Master might share case studies of organizations that have thrived by embracing intelligent risk-taking. Remember, the Scrum Master works to create an environment where Scrum's values of courage and openness can flourish. Question 12. During a sprint review, stakeholders are intensely focused on a single, minor bug and are disproportionately criticizing the development team, overshadowing the valuable progress made. What is the Scrum Master's best approach? A. Defend the development team and redirect the conversation away from the bug. B. Acknowledge the bug, but steer the discussion back to the sprint goal and the overall increment, emphasizing empirical feedback for future sprints. C. Stop the sprint review immediately and hold a separate meeting about the bug. D. Ask the development team to fix the bug on the spot to satisfy the stakeholders. Answer. B. Acknowledge the bug, but steer the discussion back to the sprint goal and the overall increment, emphasizing empirical feedback for future sprints. The sprint review is a crucial opportunity for inspection and adaptation of the product backlog and overall product strategy. While acknowledging concerns is important, the Scrum Master's role is to ensure the event remains productive and focused on its broader purpose, gathering feedback on the increment and collaboratively deciding what to do next. By gently but firmly redirecting, the Scrum Master ensures the valuable work is recognized and the discussion focuses on future improvements and the overall product direction rather than excessive dwelling on minor issues. For instance, the the Scrum Master might ask, beyond this specific bug, what other feedback do you have on the features demonstrated, and how might this impact our next steps? Remember, the Scrum Master maintains the flow and purpose of Scrum events. Question 13. The development team consistently struggles to meet their own sprint forecasts, frequently leaving work incomplete by the end of the sprint. What is the most effective way for the Scrum Master to address this pattern? A. Set stricter deadlines for the development team. B. Facilitate sprint retrospectives that focus on understanding the root causes of the missed forecasts and helping the team self-organize to improve. C. Reduce the amount of work the product owner adds to the sprint backlog. D. Report the development team's performance issues to their functional manager. Answer: B. Facilitate sprint retrospectives that focus on understanding the root causes of the missed forecasts and helping the team self-organize to improve. The Scrum Master coaches the development team on self-management and continuous improvement. When forecasts are consistently missed, it's an indication that the team needs to inspect and adapt its processes and refine its understanding of its capacity. The Scrum Master should use the sprint retrospective as the primary event to facilitate a discussion, helping the team identify the underlying issues, e.g., poor estimation, interruptions, overcommitment, and collaboratively devise solutions to improve their forecasting and delivery capabilities. For example, the team might decide to incorporate more slack into their sprints or improve their product backlog refinement practices. Remember, the Scrum Master empowers the team to solve its own problems, fostering self-organization and accountability. Question 14. A Scrum team is frequently interrupted by external requests and urgent support issues that pull them away from their sprint goal. The development team is expressing significant frustration. What is the most proactive Scrum Master action? A. Instruct the development team to ignore all external requests. B. Facilitate a discussion with the product owner and stakeholders to establish clear boundaries and a process for handling urgent interruptions without disrupting the sprint goal. C. Add all external requests to the product backlog for future prioritization. D. Offer to handle all interruptions personally to protect the team. Answer: B. Facilitate a discussion with the product owner and stakeholders to establish clear boundaries and a process for handling urgent interruptions without disrupting the sprint goal. A proactive Scrum Master identifies and helps remove impediments to the development team's focus and ability to achieve the sprint goal. Frequent interruptions are a significant impediment that compromises focus and predictability. Rather than simply deflecting or absorbing them, the Scrum Master should facilitate a conversation with relevant stakeholders and the product owner to establish a clear policy or process for managing such requests, ensuring the team's focus and the sprint goal are protected. For instance, they might agree on a dedicated, on-call person or a specific channel for urgent issues that are truly sprint-breaking. Remember, the Scrum Master helps create an environment where the development team can work undisturbed towards their commitments. Question 15. Senior management in an organization decides to implement a hybrid framework, blending Scrum with traditional waterfall elements, which consistently undermines Scrum's principles and values. How should the Scrum Master respond? A. Comply with the management's decision, as they are ultimately responsible. B. Educate management on the potential pitfalls of hybrid approaches that compromise core Scrum principles and advocate for a more coherent adoption of Scrum. C. Focus solely on the Scrum team, ignoring the organizational level issues. D. Resign from the role, as the organization is not truly agile. Answer: B. Educate management on the potential pitfalls of hybrid approaches that compromise core Scrum principles and advocate for a more coherent adoption of Scrum. The PSM II Scrum Master acts as a change agent for the organization, not just the team. When management's decisions undermine Scrum's effectiveness, the Scrum Master has a responsibility to educate them on the consequences of such choices and advocate for a proper, principled implementation of Scrum. This involves clearly articulating why certain hybrid elements can negate the benefits of agility and helping them understand the value of pure Scrum. For example, the Scrum Master might explain how fixed phases combined with iterative development often lead to late discovery of issues and reduced adaptability. Remember, the Scrum Master is an organizational coach, helping the entire system embrace true agility. Question 16. The product owner is requesting highly detailed, fixed estimates for product backlog items far into the future, e.g., 6 to 12 months out, hindering flexibility and adaptability. What is the Scrum Master's best approach? A. Provide the product owner with the detailed estimates they requested. B. Explain to the product owner the empirical nature of Scrum, where forecasts become less certain further into the future, and encourage focus on shorter-term planning and frequent inspection. C. Advise the development team to refuse to provide any estimates for future work. D. Suggest the product owner use traditional project management tools for long-term planning. Answer. B. Explain to the product owner the empirical nature of Scrum, where forecasts become less certain further into the future, and encourage focus on shorter-term planning and frequent inspection. A core concept in Scrum is empiricism, which relies on adapting based on real-world feedback and reducing uncertainty over time. Demanding fixed, long-term estimates contradicts this principle and creates a false sense of security, limiting the ability to adapt as new information emerges. The Scrum Master should coach the product owner on this, emphasizing that while long-term rough forecasts are useful, commitment is tied to short, iterative cycles, and detailed plans beyond the sprint are prone to significant change. For example, the Scrum Master might suggest using techniques like relative sizing for high-level forecasts, acknowledging that these will become more precise as items near development. Remember, the Scrum Master helps all roles embrace the empirical process control of Scrum. Question 17. The development team is consistently creating a done increment each sprint, but stakeholders are complaining about the frequent need for bug fixes and unexpected technical issues appearing post-release. What is the Scrum Master's most effective action? A. Instruct the development team to work overtime to fix all bugs before release. B. Coach the development team on the importance of engineering practices, quality, and possibly suggest refining their definition of done to include more robust testing or quality checks. C. Advise the product owner to stop releasing until all bugs are resolved. D. Inform stakeholders that some bugs are normal in software development. Answer. B. Coach the development team on the importance of engineering practices, quality, and possibly suggest refining their definition of done to include more robust testing or quality checks. A true done increment implies a usable, high-quality product that meets the definition of done and is potentially releasable. If bugs are appearing post-release, it indicates a gap in the quality assurance process or engineering practices within the team's definition of done. The Scrum Master, acting as a coach, should guide the development team to understand how their technical practices impact product quality and help them improve their definition of done to ensure that increments are truly shippable and high quality at the end of every sprint. For example, the team might decide to incorporate automated end-to-end testing or more thorough peer reviews into their definition of done. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the team mature in its technical excellence and quality standards. Question 18. The product owner is frequently adding new product backlog items that are merely nice-to-have features, leading to a bloated product backlog and difficulty for the development team to focus on truly valuable work. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. Advise the development team to simply ignore the nice-to-have items. B. Coach the product owner on the importance of product backlog refinement, ruthless prioritization, and focusing on maximizing value for the customer. C. Suggest creating a separate wish list backlog for the product owner. D. Demand that the product owner justify every item added to the product backlog. Answer. B. Coach the product owner on the importance of product backlog refinement, ruthless prioritization, and focusing on maximizing value for the customer. The product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the product resulting from the work of the development team, and a bloated backlog filled with low-value items impedes this focus. The Scrum Master should coach the product owner on effective product backlog management, emphasizing continuous refinement to ensure items are valuable, clear, and well-ordered, and to prioritize rigorously to maintain focus on the most impactful work. This coaching helps the product owner become more effective at guiding the team towards true value creation. For example, the Scrum Master might introduce techniques like value stream mapping or cost of delay to help the product owner see the impact of lower value items. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the product owner hone their ability to drive maximum value. Question 19. A Scrum team consistently struggles with dependencies on an external department that has its own traditional, non-agile processes, causing delays and frustration. What is the Scrum Master's most effective approach? A. Insist that the external department adopt Scrum immediately. B. Work with the external department's leadership to identify common goals and explore ways to improve cross-departmental collaboration and flow, potentially by explaining Scrum's benefits. C. Advise the development team to minimize interactions with the external department. D. Escalate every delay caused by the external department to senior management. Answer: B. Work with the external department's leadership to identify common goals and explore ways to improve cross-departmental collaboration and flow, potentially by explaining Scrum's benefits. The Scrum Master's role extends beyond the Scrum team to identify and help remove organizational impediments. When dependencies exist with external, non-agile departments, the Scrum Master needs to engage with their leadership to understand their processes, build bridges, and facilitate improvements in collaboration and communication. This can involve subtly introducing Agile principles or explaining how better flow and predictability benefits everyone involved. For example, the Scrum Master might propose a joint working session to map out the current dependency process and identify bottlenecks, fostering mutual understanding. Remember, the Scrum Master is a bridge builder and change agent, seeking to optimize the entire value stream, not just the Scrum team's part. Question 20. Some long-standing team members are resistant to Scrum, viewing it as just another methodology, and clinging to old ways of working, negatively impacting team morale and Scrum adoption. How should the Scrum Master address this? A. Force the team members to follow all Scrum rules strictly. B. Engage with these individuals, listen to their concerns, understand their perspectives, and coach them on the why behind Scrum's principles and values, showing how it can benefit them. C. Report their resistance to their functional manager for disciplinary action. D. Ignore their resistance, hoping they will eventually come around. Answer: B. Engage with these individuals, listen to their concerns, understand their perspectives, and coach them on the why behind Scrum's principles and values, showing how it can benefit them. Resistance to change is common, and a PSM II Scrum Master acts as a change agent and coach, needing to address this at an individual level with empathy and understanding. Instead of enforcing rules, the Scrum Master should engage in dialogue, listen to concerns, and help individuals connect Scrum's principles to their own experiences, demonstrating the practical benefits and addressing underlying fears or misunderstandings. This approach fosters buy-in and helps individuals see Scrum as a solution rather than a burden. For example, the Scrum Master might explain how self-organizing teams actually gain more autonomy and control over their work, addressing a common pain point. Remember, building buy-in requires understanding and addressing individual perspectives, not just enforcing dogma. Question 21. An organization is demanding detailed Gantt charts and extensive progress reports from Scrum teams to fit into their traditional portfolio management system, which creates significant overhead and reduces the team's agility. What is the Scrum Master's best response? A. Instruct the development team to create the requested reports. B. Educate management on alternative Agile metrics and reporting approaches, e.g., burn-down charts, velocity, flow metrics, sprint review demos, that provide transparency and align with Scrum's empirical nature. C. Suggest the Scrum team create fake reports to satisfy management. D. Delegate the reporting task to the product owner. Answer: B. Educate management on alternative Agile metrics and reporting approaches, e.g., burn-down charts, velocity, flow metrics, sprint review demos, that provide transparency and align with Scrum's empirical nature. The PSM II Scrum Master coaches the organization on effective ways to measure and report progress that align with Scrum's values of transparency and empiricism. Traditional Gantt charts and fixed reports often obscure the true state of Agile development, create unnecessary overhead, and give a false sense of security. The Scrum Master should advocate for and educate management on Agile native metrics that provide real-time insights into progress, value delivery, and predictability without compromising adaptability. For example, the Scrum Master might demonstrate how a release burn-down or cumulative flow diagram provides more accurate and useful information for decision-making than a static Gantt chart. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the organization adopt an empirical approach to measurement and governance. Question 22. During a sprint retrospective, the development team members are reluctant to share honest feedback or discuss uncomfortable truths about their process, leading to superficial discussions. What should the Scrum Master do? A. End the retrospective early, as the team is not engaging. B. Create a safe and trusting environment by using facilitation techniques that encourage openness, vulnerability, and psychological safety, while modeling candid feedback. C. Assign tasks to individual team members to investigate issues after the retrospective. D. Bring in a senior manager to observe and encourage honest feedback. Answer: B. Create a safe and trusting environment by using facilitation techniques that encourage openness, vulnerability, and psychological safety, while modeling candid feedback. The Scrum Master's skill in facilitation and coaching is crucial for effective sprint retrospectives, especially when a team struggles with openness. The Scrum Master needs to actively build psychological safety, ensuring team members feel safe to voice concerns without fear of reprisal, as this is essential for genuine continuous improvement. This involves using various techniques like anonymous feedback, specific prompts, or non-judgmental active listening, while also modeling the desired candid behavior. For example, the Scrum Master might start with an energy check, or use a lean coffee format to allow topics to emerge organically and ensure everyone's voice is heard. Remember, the Scrum Master is responsible for creating a safe space for continuous improvement. Question 23. The product owner is struggling to articulate a clear, compelling product vision, leading to a lack of direction and conflicting priorities within the product backlog. What is the Scrum Master's best course of action? A. Write the product vision for the product owner to approve. B. Coach the product owner on visioning techniques and facilitate workshops to help them define and communicate a clear product vision and strategy. C. Ask the development team to create their own vision. D. Recommend abandoning the concept of a product vision in favor of immediate feature delivery. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on visioning techniques and facilitate workshops to help them define and communicate a clear product vision and strategy. A clear product vision is essential for guiding the product owner's decisions and aligning the entire Scrum team and stakeholders on what the product aims to achieve. When the product owner struggles with this, the Scrum Master should step in as a coach and facilitator. This involves providing guidance on various visioning frameworks, e.g., product box, elevator statement, and facilitating collaborative sessions to help the product owner articulate and refine a compelling vision that provides direction for the product's evolution. For example, the Scrum Master might organize a session where the product owner engages stakeholders to collaboratively define what the product aims to achieve. Remember, the Scrum Master supports the product owner in maximizing value by ensuring clear strategic direction. Question 24. A Scrum team finds that while they complete sprints, their workflow within the sprint is often bottlenecked at the testing phase, leading to last-minute rushes. What is a relevant concept the Scrum Master could introduce or reinforce? A. Encourage the team to add more testers. B. Introduce or reinforce the concept of work in progress, WIP, limits and flow optimization techniques, possibly drawing from Kanban principles, within the sprint. C. Advise the development team to skip some testing to meet the sprint goal. D. Suggest that testing be moved to a separate post-sprint phase. Answer: B. Introduce or reinforce the concept of work in progress, WIP, limits and flow optimization techniques, possibly drawing from Kanban principles, within the sprint. The Scrum Master continuously looks for ways to optimize the Scrum team's flow and efficiency within the sprint. When bottlenecks occur, such as at the testing phase, techniques like work in progress, WIP, limits, often associated with Kanban, can be highly effective within the Scrum framework to improve flow, identify bottlenecks earlier, and encourage swarming to complete work. The Scrum Master would coach the team on how reducing the number of items being worked on simultaneously can improve overall throughput and reduce last-minute stress, leading to more predictable delivery. For instance, the team might agree that only 3 items can be in the testing column at any one time, forcing them to focus on completing work before starting new tasks. Remember, the Scrum Master helps the team improve its own processes, often by integrating useful complementary practices. Question 25. The development team identifies a critical security vulnerability in the increment during a sprint, but fixing it would mean not meeting a previously agreed-upon marketing deadline for the sprint goal. What should the Scrum Master encourage the Scrum team to do? A. Prioritize the marketing deadline and fix the vulnerability in the next sprint. B. Encourage the Scrum team to transparently discuss the vulnerability with the product owner and stakeholders, present the trade-off, and recommend fixing the critical issue immediately, even if it impacts the deadline. C. Fix the vulnerability secretly without informing the product owner, then explain why the deadline was missed. D. Escalate the decision to senior management to decide what to do. Answer: B. Encourage the Scrum team to transparently discuss the vulnerability with the product owner and stakeholders, present the trade-off, and recommend fixing the critical issue immediately, even if it impacts the deadline. The Scrum Master fosters the Scrum values, especially courage and transparency, which are critical when facing difficult decisions that impact product integrity. When a critical issue like a security vulnerability arises, it's paramount to address it immediately, as it directly impacts the product's quality, security, and potential value. The Scrum Master should coach the Scrum team to be transparent about the issue, clearly articulate the trade-off between fixing the vulnerability and meeting the marketing deadline, and advocate for doing the right thing for the product's integrity, even if it means missing a non-critical deadline. For example, the Scrum Master might help the team frame the discussion around risk mitigation and long-term product health. Remember, the Scrum Master empowers the team to make courageous decisions that uphold quality and value.